Hello everyone, welcome to this video lecture series on wireless cellular 4G broadband. Module number 5, lecture number 4 on radio resource management MAC overview. Okay, so in my previous video lecture, so what we have seen is we have gone through the very most important part of the module number 5, that is the LTE structure. Okay, or you can simply call it as a protocol stack for LTE structure. So the whole protocol stack of this LTE structure is based on layer number 2. Okay, we have basically three layers. We have layer 1, layer 2, layer 3. Okay, so based on this particular layer number of layers, so layer 2 plays a very important role in LTE. Okay, and that layer 2 has the protocol stack, and we have three basically protocols. One is the PDCP protocol, we have MAC, and we have RRC. Okay, so based on these three very important protocol stack of this LTE system, we have gone through the concept of PDCP. Okay, and what is the working of PDCP, what are the various plane functions, requirement, services provided by the user plane and the control plane. Okay, and their formats, the data format, and the last nothing but the least is how the header compression is done and how the concept of integrity and the ciphering plays an important role in LTE. The very most important part of this LTE is nothing but the ciphering and the deciphering, and the main is how the radio resources management is carried out in PDCP. So in today's lecture, we will go through the another very important topic here. It is the MAC overview or medium access control. Okay, it is the another type of the protocol which is available in this LTE protocol stack. Okay, and in this MAC, or it is also called as an RLC. Okay, radio resource or link control. Okay, radio link control or radio resource link control, both are same here. Okay, and MAC represents its a medium access control. Okay, so with this interaction of this MAC and RLC sublayer, they play an important role in LTE again. Okay, and what are the roles of this RLC? Okay, sometimes the question may be what is a MAC, and it can be an RLC, so both are same. Okay, so don't get confused with the topic name MAC and RLC sublayers. Okay, so basically this RLC sublayer, okay, or RLC layer, it performs the segmentation or the concatenation of PDCP PDUs based on size indicated by the MAC. Okay, so the very first operation of the MAC or the RLC here is performing the segmentation. Segmentation is nothing but if you have a block of 10, if you have 10 blocks, so this 10 blocks are divided into different 111 block. Okay, between, in the sense, breaking of the code or the breaking of the data sequence into separate parts is called as segmentation. Okay, and the another operation performed by the RLC here is it is concatenation. The word concatenation is nothing but it's a kind of cascading. Okay, once you are breaking, then you need to join or you need to reconstruct. Okay, so that is the very most important operation of RLC, that is segmentation and concatenation. On where you have to perform this, you have to perform this segmentation and the concatenation on PDCP PDUs. Okay, and how to do that? They are done based on the size indicated by the MAC. Okay, some size will be given. For example, divide the block into two. Okay, divide the block into 2 KB, 3 KB, 10 KB, or 4 bits, 8 bits. Okay, and all the blocks should be uniform. Okay, it should not be like that one block is of 4 bit, the another block will be of 5 bits. Okay, and the another block will be of 6 bit. No, once you are deciding the size by the MAC layer, then if it is a 4 bit, means all the blocks should be divided into 4 only. For example, if the number of bits are 12, so if I tell the block size is 4, then it is nothing but 4, 4, and 4. Okay, so if it is 3, then 3, 3, 3, and 3. So in this way, once the size is decided by the MAC, then we can easily perform the segmentation on the PDCP data. And the second important part of this RLC is RLC also reorders the RLC PDUs once they are received out of order, possibly due to this HARQ process in the MAC layer. Okay, so there is one process which is being defined in this MAC. It is called as HARQ. Okay, we will come to this point that is called as automatic request queue or recurring queue. We have different names for that particular name. Okay, and so that is what the RLC, the another operation of RLC is, it is reorder, the reordering based on the sequence number. For example, I have 3 blocks, and for those particular blocks I will give the number, like number 1 for first block, number 2 for the second block, number 3 for the third block. So, okay, and once I transmit these 3 blocks, and due to some problem in the network or due to the problems in the wireless part, if the blocks get shuffled, then you need to reorder at the receiver. Okay, you need to possibly you should reorder for that particular data. And how this can be done? This is done by this MAC layer. Okay, and this can also be done by making use of some process. It is called as HARQ process in the MAC layer. And the another important mechanism in this RLC is it supports ARQ mechanism, okay, which resides on the top of the MAC layer HARQ and is used only when all the HARQ transmissions are exhausted and RLC PDU has not yet been received without error. Okay, so this is the another important mechanism. Okay, the mechanism here is they use some ARQ mechanism, okay, which resides in the sense which stays on the top of the MAC layer. Okay, for example, if you have a MAC layer of 5 layers, then the first layer will be your ARQ mechanism. Okay, it will be residing there. Okay, and it can be only used, it will not be used all the time. Okay, it will be only used if when all these transmission are exhausted because of some problem, okay, because of some error, okay, which are, or sometimes because the received bits are not properly received, because there are some kind of flaws, okay, or it can be anything. Okay, so based on the type of error or based on sometimes because on the network feasibility, this RLC layer supports this mechanism. Then the MAC layer, the another important part of this MAC layer is the MAC layer performs the multiplexing and demultiplexing. This is the very important part of the LTE system. It has to do the multiplexing, that taking all the signals, combining and transmitting over the single layer or the single channel, and demultiplexing is taking the signal from the receiver and then separating it at the various channels or the various receivers, or by making use of either can be some physical layers or sometimes they can be on the logical layers, okay, on the transport channels. The another part of this MAC layer is if you are making use at the E node B, that is enhancement node B, then this also includes the multiplexing. Not only multiplexing, it is also giving some kind of priority to the receive bits, the receive packets. So prioritizing is nothing but by making for the various radio receive barriers with a given user entity. For example, if there are 10 user entity, if we give the numbers like UE1, UE2, UE3, UE4, okay, so among the 4, if I assign some kind of priority, okay, and based on that priority, the transmission will takes place. Then, and what is another thing which is happening in the MAC layer is the MAC layer can only perform the task of multiplexing and prioritizing the various radio barrier which are associated with UE, and it also gives the some services to RLC layer through logical channels. Okay, while the access the data transfer service provided by the physical layer through transport channels. Okay, so here this MAC protocol or the MAC layer, first it does the segmentation and the concatenation by RLC. Then the second is it makes use of some HARQ process, then it makes use of ARQ mechanism, then multiplexing, then demultiplexing, then giving or assigning the priority to the data by making use of both, that is the logical channels and also the physical layer through some transport channels. So there are two important channels they have represented here, they are logical and transport. Now if you want to transfer some kind of data to some upper layers, okay, or some the below layers or among the layers or among the RLC or between the RLC or the MAC or RLC to PDCP, okay, so then we come across the type of modes. Okay, so here we have different type of modes here represented, and their functions are listed below. So the three different are type of modes in RLC are, that is transparent mode denoted by TM, unacknowledged mode denoted by UM, okay, and the acknowledged mode we represent it by AM. Okay, so let us see how this different modes of LTE works are. Transparent mode, in this mode, which is considered to be one of the simplest mode among all the three modes. And what is happening in this particular transparent mode is this RLT entity does not add any RLC header, okay, and there is no any data segmentation, and concatenation is performed because it is purely transparent, it is completely visible, it is completely known to both the transmitter and the receiver, the datas are known, okay, so therefore there is no requirement of segmentation and no requirement of concatenation both at the transmitter and receiver respectively. And we don't require any kind of header, okay. Header also plays an important role, but in this particular mode we don't require any header, or the header is not added to the data. And where this mode is used, this mode is suitable for the services that do not read retransmission, okay. For example, from my side, if I'm transmitting some data and you are received, I will not be bothered about whether you have received the data, whether the received data is correct, or whether the received data is error. I will not bother. My work is I will just transmit, that's it. So for that particular, I don't require any kind of retransmission, because there is no any chance of getting some kind of acknowledgement from your side, okay. So therefore I'm completely transparent from my side. I'll just transmit the data without any segmentation, okay, so that whatever the data is transmitted, it is received, that's it, okay. And the another thing is, they are not at all sensitive to the delivery of data. Not sensitive to delivery in the sense they are least bothered. They are not bothered that the data is received or whether the data is lost in the network. Only the RLC messages such as the broadcast system information messages and paging messages uses the TM mode. These are the two applications where these transparent modes are used. One is the broadcasting, okay. The meaning of broadcasting here is, you can take an example of the TV channels, okay. So the TV channels they are broadcasted by the earth station, okay. Once they are broadcasted, okay, and whether the receiver is received or whether they have not received it properly, the broadcast station will not bother. Their work is just simply broadcast the information. And the another is the paging messages. Once the messages are sent, that's it. We will not bother the delivery of the delivery report of that particular messages. So therefore these two are used in make use of TM mode, and this TM mode is not used for user plane data transmission. And this RLC data PDO delivery by TM RLC entity is called TM data. The another important mode here we have, it is unacknowledgement mode or unacknowledged mode represented by UM. Okay, this UM provides in sequence delivery of data that may be received out of sequence due to this HARQ process in the MAC. Okay, now what we do is, now we have some block of data, and that particular block of data has been divided and assigned some number, that is sequence number. And if those data is transmitted and if they are received out of order in the sense they are not in a proper order because of some process in the MAC, but still the no transmission, retransmission of the lost PDO is required. We don't require any kind of retransmission. The reason because is why the retransmission is not required, because we have assigned the sequence number, or we have assigned some sequence delivery information for that particular data which is transmitted. So therefore there is no necessary of retransmission. And where this can be used, these are used in delay sensitive and error tolerant real-time applications such as VoIP, okay. This is the another type of application they use, that is again in the IP internet protocol only, okay. Then these DTH logical channels can be operated in UM mode, and the RLC data received by an UM RLC entity is called as UM data. So what we have seen here, just like a TM data, we have a UM data also, okay. So in this way we go for some unacknowledgement mode, and based on the size of this header or based on the size of the transmitted data, the segments or the concatenation of this transmitted data or the user data takes place. The another important operation here in UM mode is the receive UM RLC entity. It also performs at the receiving side, that is duplicate the detection, reordering and reassembling of UM data of PDU. Okay, that is packet data units or users. This is how the UM data works. The last type of mode is, it is acknowledgement mode. It is represented by AM. This is a bit complex than compared to other modes, where the retransmission of, if for the missing PDU is required, okay, or it will give you some kind of request for the retransmission. For example, if I transmit some data and that particular data is not received properly, then I request for the retransmission of the data. And wherever the retransmission comes, obviously there will be a complexity problem. Okay, based on this addition of the request, then this function of modality or the functioning modality or the functionalities related to AM will be complex. And the another important part of this AM mode is they are error sensitive. That is what, wherever the term retransmission comes, then the error sensitivity comes. The error sensitivity and the delay tolerant application. For example, for the transmitted data, if there is a delay of some 10 millisecond or 100 millisecond, okay, after that particular delay, it will request for the retransmission. If the data is not received within the 10 millisecond or the 100 millisecond of time, it will request for the retransmission. And the error sensitivity, if there is a problem in the received bits, that is one bit or the two bits are missing or they are error, then again it will ask for the retransmission of your data. The another application or the another type of the mechanism what we do here in AM RLC is, this can be configured to deliver or receive the RLC PDUs through DTCH and DTCH. Okay, then this AM RLC entity delivers and receive the AM data PDU and the status PDU indicating the acknowledgement, and NAK it is not acknowledgement. So this is how this acknowledged mode will work. The another type of mechanism which is used in AM, that is acknowledgement mode, is it requires some retransmit a portion of AMD PDU, that is AM data PDU, which results from ARQ process and segmentation. The transmitted PDU, it is called as AMD PDU segment. So this is how the total modes, three modes of operation does. Okay, that is TM mode, unacknowledgement mode, and the mode the AM mode. And the necessary of using all these three modes are, they will help you for the better operation of to achieve the quality of service. The whole radio resource management will completely working on the radio resource management. If the resources are not properly allocated, if the resources are not properly meant for the receiving side, there should be some kind of operation or some kind of modes should be designed in such a way that either they should be transparent or they should be do some kind of acknowledgement or some kind of non-acknowledgement to the, either it can be for the transmitted data or it can be for the receiver data. So with this it will show you or it will assure you that the transmitted data is been successfully received or that can be successfully lost or successfully delivered at particular receiver. Okay, so with this modes of modes or the three different modes of the MAC, I conclude this today's topic. Okay, thank you.